All right, guys, well, I'm back today to discuss a little bit of knife philosophy. We're going to be digging into the high value and budget world of pocket knives, really discussing the history and price trends over the past 10 years to see where we've landed at today. I truly think we are living in the golden age of high value and budget pocket knives, and this might not always be the case. We're going to take a look at the history so we can understand the future, dabble with some economic factors, talk about trickle-down technology, and at the end of this video, you'll want to watch the entire thing because we are launching some new knives in the 704 gear lineup, and I've got one of the production samples. I'm going to show you just a sneak peek of what you can expect in the next few months. But let's dig right in, starting with the history of knives for the past 10 years, kind of starting around 2015. Now, I remember in 2015 kind of digging into the knife world and seeing what there was to see. And honestly, some of the only budget companies that were around were things like Gonzo, and they were doing pretty good stuff, but a lot of them were still featuring 440C steel. And this is what I want to start talking about first when it comes to history. Steel's considered like truly ultra premium just 10 years ago were 154CM, S30V, S35VN, and even things like 14C 28N. Now, those were commonly found on knives well above $100, $150. But since then, that technology in blade steel has really trickled down, where D2 and 14C 28N have mostly replaced all of the budget knife options, and they also include that one more steel, the 8CR13 MOV, although that was fairly prevalent in $30 to $40 knives about 10 years ago. Now, when we start seeing this trickle-down effect, a number of companies and manufacturers have really made that steel proliferate the entire budget knife world, so it's a really good time to grab a knife that has steel that's got great edge retention or corrosion resistance and has been holding up really well. Now, the other cool thing about this trickle-down technology is innovations like the ball-bearing pivot system, often exclusive to $300 knives, are now below, knives and well below $100. I mean, we are using ball bearing technology in a lot of the 704 gear knives that you can easily find under $20, and we're not the only company doing that. You also have a lot of companies like Flissa in the ultra budget Amazon world using ball bearing or bushing systems, and companies like EMHTI are also utilizing a lot of these systems. Also, some trickle-down technology when it comes to handle and scale design. We are looking at a lot of different companies now just rolling in G10 as a standard or saving even a lot more money with FRN handles or fiberglass reinforced nylon over some of the other polymers used in the past. So even the polymer handle knives like you see on this Kaiser right here are a lot more improved over the polymers you were seeing 10 years ago. We're also seeing companies do their own unique brands of anodized aluminum or specialized aluminum like O-Knife with their O-Aluminum, which is a scratch-resistant aluminum. And a lot of these knives featuring materials like this, again, were custom, semi-custom, or premium knives just 10 years ago, costing well over $200. Now you can get something with this really fancy aluminum and really good steel. On this Duron, we are looking at nitro V steel for well under $80 when they are on sale. We also see a lot of the push buttons coming to market with D2 steel or 14C 28N steel, and these push buttons would generally be well over $100 with these materials. And I've seen some options from Tack Knives and other companies that I dig through and find online coming down to $50 and potentially under. I think I did a deal alert video on this particular knife where it was about $25 to $30. Now, if you're wondering where those videos were at or you missed them, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I'm always doing deal alert videos and featuring high value items, and about 70% of my viewers are not subscribed. You'll want to jump on that because a lot of times when we feature certain deal knives, they'll sell out within a few hours, so you want to be the first to see those, and I negotiate with brands to get you guys the best deals possible. Now, on top of a lot of this trickle-down technology, a lot of brands have really sprung up in this particular budget knife category. We've already mentioned Gonzo in the past, and these guys are continuing the trend of focusing on high-value and budget items, but companies like Civivi, companies like Kaiser, CJRB are really focusing on a lot of high-value options, especially in that $30 to $50 price range, using more premium materials, new locks like button locks and crossbar locks, without just just that same old liner lock action. And then in comes my company, 704 Gear. We are starting to use crossbar locks and button locks. Again, kind of a hint at some of our new options with coated D2 steel and G10 handles with reversible pocket clips. A knife like this guy right here just 10 years ago would be in the $50 to $60 category. And in fact, we've got the 704 Gear Hornet on sale on Amazon right now for $19.99. If you're watching this video a little bit later and it's not on sale, we actually rotate through a knife or two every single week to drop the price to $19.99. And most of them are featuring coated D2 steel with G10 handles and reversible pocket clips for $20. This again was almost unheard of 10 years ago or impossible to find at this price point. A lot of the $20 knives had a lot of blade play, liner lock designs, 440 steel. They just weren't very good. The technology has improved and the prices have dropped. I also want to discuss another company, EMHTI, that just popped up on Amazon. These guys are also doing some really good sales with some high value and budget knife options. A lot of my favorites will be linked in the description below if you decide you like this at the end of the video. And one more material I haven't discussed was Damascus steel. A lot of times Damascus steel 10 years ago was not very good quality. It didn't hold an edge well, or it was just faked and laser engraved. One of our 704 Gear knives, the Urban Ranger full size, has true 110 layer Damascus steel that is incredibly razor sharp with G10 handles and a reversible clip. We actually have these on sale for $45, and we dropped the price for this particular video down to $34.99 with free prime shipping. So a $35 true 110 layer Damascus steel blade. Again, the tech is just awesome, and it allows us to do these pricings. Now, I want to touch base a little bit on the economy, a little bit about the history of where I've seen companies and trends go to, and why I think we may not be able to always see these pricings on knives. We have truly developed a knife community here on YouTube as well as Instagram. And the knife community for me has really sprung up from a lot of original OG content creators like Nut and Fancy, who really dug into what was available at the time. As people started getting into more knives and more companies started producing budget options, companies like Bird and Spyderco were no longer the only options on stage. You know, you had to pick a Benchmade or a Spyderco or something like that. Now there are so many options available from new brands that are springing up that are giving us a lot of really high value options that actually work, and that increased the knife community even more. And we had a lot of expendable money, and we were hanging out a lot at the house between 2020 and 2022 when a lot of these content creators really sprung up. People had time on their hands. People had a little bit of extra money from those stimulus checks coming in the mail and really got hooked and addicted to pocket knives. And I did too, so much so I started my own pocket knife company. Now, a lot of that free money dried up. The economy is slowing down a little bit. The jobs numbers here recently were going down, and importation on a lot of overseas knives, which where the majority of all these budget ones are made, or at least the materials and components are sourced to keep them at the $20 to $30 price point. It's kind of drying up with a lot of the tariffs coming. Now, luckily, we've settled on some tariffs, but they're higher than before. I have a feeling if the tariffs increase much more over the years and the job market starts to slow down, people are not going to be buying as many expendable items like just a 57th new pocket knife, although it's super fun. That'll cause some of these companies to dry up and disappear, and that'll cause the innovation to start to slow down if they don't see a ton of profits or can't necessarily hire a ton of engineers. Now, will that be the case and will that continue to happen? I'm not sure, but I definitely see a positive outlook for the knife community, especially with all the established brands that can weather the ups and downs. And I truly think, at least my knife company anyways, is continuing to push the limits of what can be done in a high value and budget situation. So I see positive outlooks, but a little bit cautious in the knife community. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you think. Do you think we are living in the golden age? Do you think I misrepresented some of this stuff? I really want to hear your opinions, and all of my favorites and super deals will be listed in the description below. And maybe what you've been waiting for this whole time, a sneak peek at a new option from our knife company. What you are looking at is a brand new gear logo for 704 Gear, 14C 28-inch steel, push button lock, and micarta options. This is going to be good. I want to hear your thoughts on the new logo, whether you like it or you don't like it, or you want us to go back to the 704. Some of the biggest complaints about non-viewers of the channel buying our knives were, what the heck is this 704 on the side of the knife? It's a little bit big branding, so we've adjusted and we've pivoted with the pivot cap to a gear. I really want to hear your thoughts on this knife. I've got 3 new models available and 2 color variations available, each of those models coming very soon in the next month or two. Really excited about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.